Howdy, y'all. Good afternoon. I'm semi-sorta outdoors. I'm at the very back of my garage. How's the signal? I'm on my Wi-Fi. Sometimes back here it'll buffer, but it seems to be pretty strong. If the signal goes bad, I could switch. Oh, the light. The light is changing. Yeah. Hey, Terry. Yeah, if the video goes bad, let me know. I could switch it off of the Wi-Fi. But it seems to be strong enough. Good to see you, Terry. Phantom trains and haunted Norfolk. Oh, the light. Sorry about the light. We may do that. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, sorry. might make it better. I thought I'd sit outside, sort of. I'm in the back of my garage. Oh, I need to change my settings. Hang on. Okay. Sorry. There is a storm moving in. It's probably not going to get here for about... Picture's a bit dodgy. Let me try this. I messed up the light. There we go. Don't know why I can't fix the light. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the light settings. Sorry, okay. Okay, I turned off the Wi-Fi and tried to adjust the lighting as best I could. But the lighting may come and go. Like I was saying, a storm is moving in. So I thought it might be fun to sit back here. The storm's probably not going to get here for like an hour and a half. But the front's going to move in. It'll probably get windy. It might start to rain a little bit. In about probably an hour and a half, it's going to be full on thunder, lightning, heavy rain, wind. But you might see the beginning of it throughout the live stream. It might get windy back there. Yeah, there's a chance of tornadoes today, Choppy. Chance of tornadoes in our forecast. Starting in about 2 hours. I'll tell you, watch the NHS video. Not very many people are. It's not getting a lot of watches or views. It's just something that interests me. I'm for the universal healthcare system. I'm wanting to learn the ins and outs, the pros and the cons. Also out now, the Haunted Estate video. That place looks nice. It's in Mid-Wells, hiking and cycling. You watch the NHS, Choppy? Well, thanks for watching. The Haunted Estate, Mid-Wells, a lot of hiking and cycling in the area, and it's Mid-Wells. I don't know. It might be a place maybe I want to look at being in that area. It looks real nice. Haunted Estate. I see there's a National Wells cycling trail goes right by there. It's not far from like Hay on Way. I know it's Twisty Mountainous Drive, but the distance isn't that far. It's not that far distance over to like Aberystwyth. It's kind of in between the two. I was looking at it on the map. I enjoyed the video. And then the premiere right after this live stream will be the Ghost Train in Norfolk. That comes out, I'll be live in the premiere chat. Right after the live stream, we're going to talk about phantom trains, ghost trains. We're going to talk about how haunted Norfolk is. Norfolk? Oh no. It's all haunted, just like the rest of the UK. So we're going to do a spooky live stream followed by a spooky premiere. And the premiere, that video, that video, the premiere that'll come out about the Phantom Train, I think you'll be surprised. The walking video in Wells was good. No one around, right, Terry? That's what I'm looking for when I'm in Wells. Kind of no one around. Not much going on, just hiking and cycling. You know, Wells is known for its cycling, and a few pretty famous cyclists are Welsh from the UK. I don't know if you knew that. It's one of the best areas to cycle in the UK because it's up and down. Makes for hard cycling and good cyclists. It's not the Alps, but in the UK, it's a good area to breed cyclists. Norfolk, it used to be called Norfolk. No, it looks lovely. I'm kidding, but today we're going to talk about how haunted it is, Charlie. Out tomorrow, and sometimes these change, that's why I'm reluctant to say what's out tomorrow, but I think out tomorrow is going to be a video called Magical Scotland. And it's kind of about like, well, the fairy pools and the kelpies, just magical, mystical stuff like that in Scotland. That should come out tomorrow. I'm doing my timing different on my video, so I'm shooting to put a video out let's see, it comes out at 7 a.m. your time, then another one at noon your time, and another one at 3 p.m. your time. It's kind of what I'm doing right now. So tomorrow, that Magical Scotland video will come out at noon. And at 7 a.m. will be the channel Jolly. If you know that channel, Ben suggested them. And it's their reaction to US versus UK Subway sandwich shops and the differences. That video will come out tomorrow at 7 a.m. and then at 3 p.m. your time will come out a video called How Living in England Changes an American After 1 Year. What it's like for an American. They moved to England and how it changed them in 1 year. That should be what's out tomorrow. But right now, I'm going to talk about spooky Norfolk. I mean, what y'all think about the NHS video? I am going to do a live stream tomorrow all about UK versus US healthcare, and I'll tell you what my opinion is on which is better, your system or our system. Because there are, and I'll go over them tomorrow, there are advantages and disadvantages to both. That is true. But I'll give my opinion over which I think is better. But it's obvious, my opinion already is known, that I'm for universal health care. I'm for universal health care. But tomorrow I'll give my opinion. What system do I think is better, the US or the UK? And do a whole live stream about it tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. What y'all think about that video? Okay. Has anyone ever heard of the ghost train? Hey, Genghis. Yeah, no healthcare system is perfect, Terry. That is right. Had to wait for 4 hours to get seen at the West Cumberland Hospital. Oh, see, the wait times, that's tough for us. I don't want to talk too much about my opinion, but I'll say the same stuff I said kind of in the video. You know, yeah, no healthcare system is perfect. But there's no, okay, I made some points that it is a statistical fact that your wait times are long for some things. That is a true fact. Here's another fact. You live longer Your uh, rate of disease is lower. Your, I mean, that, if you're going to judge a system, which system has better results? Yours. That is a statistical fact. It cannot be argued by Americans. Your system, it has better results, better outcomes. So that's a fact. And your system has longer wait times. That's a fact. So I like facts, not, you know, I like that video because I can watch videos on YouTube all day where people either had good experiences, you know what I mean? Like Americans that, you know, have good experiences once they move to England or somewhere in the UK and they start using NHS. You can find those videos all day. I can react to those. You can also react to videos where they have bad experiences. I can react to those all day. Those are just one experience. And that is not reflective of the entire system. So reacting to those videos, while sometimes interesting to get one person's perspective, it's not the entire story. And that video I reacted to today is not like that. It's not one person's perspective. It's not just one story. They told two. Anyway, Norfolk's all haunted. Oh, pretty much right after the live stream. That guy stopped working across the street. He wasn't my neighbor, he was a worker for the neighbor. But I'll get into the NHS tomorrow. You love the NHL? Yes, King is, yeah. I see why. Better results. Yeah, good people. There's good people in the American system too. There's good, you know, my hats are off to anyone in the medical field, really anywhere, for the most part. There's good. When it gets down to that, there's good on both sides. But yeah, the NHS, much beloved. Kingus, I sent you a video message through Buy Me a Coffee. I don't know if you got it, but if you didn't, maybe you could check. It came through the Buy Me a Coffee app. Sent you a video. Haunted Norfolk. Your two nieces work for the NHS. Good people that work for the NHS. For sure. But has anyone ever heard of this ghost train of King's Lynn in Norfolk? You ever heard of it? Anyone? I don't want to get too much into, because there's going to be a premiere. My reaction to this ghost train in Norfolk. I'm going to be live in the premiere chat right after this live stream. I don't want to get too much into the ghost story of the train, but it is based on something real that happened. I'm going to tell you that part of the story right now, if you've never heard of it. Okay? It's a disused train line currently, although it does say they're thinking about using this train line again. But it goes from King's Lynn to Hunstanton Railway in Norfolk. Okay? Here's the true story of what happened and maybe why this train now is a ghost train, if you've never heard it. Oh my gosh, what happened to the story? Hang on one second. Not heard about it, Jerry. Okay. I'm having trouble pulling up the story. Okay, give me 1 second here. That article has gone bad on me. I'm gonna have to pull this up, but it's an interesting story what happened in real life. But yeah, my article froze. I'm having to pull it back up. So this train line Still exists. Does anyone know where that is? King's Lynn Crossing. In Norfolk. I've lost the article. Give me just a minute. This article was perfect. It tells the true story of what started this legend or folklore or real ghost train. It's by a channel. Here it is. Weird Norfolk, it's called. Negative. Okay, sorry. I'm pulling it back up. Sorry. I lost it for a minute. Okay, here's what happened. Across the old rail bed, dismantled many decades ago, the distinctive rumble of an approaching train has been heard by people passing nearby. Oh my gosh. This article is not happening for me. I'm sorry. I had this already, but here's what happened because I already know. It was in, now I don't have the years in front of me. It was a long time ago. There was a train from leaving King's Lynn, crossing the station on a rail line in Norfolk. The rail line's no longer in use, but still exists. Shortly after they left that station, there was a cow on the train lines. Okay? They tried to stop the train, they cut the engine, they applied the brakes, but it was too late. And this train struck this cow. It derailed the train. This is all true. This happened. You can find the reports in newspapers. I had the article, but it keeps freezing on me, so I'm just telling you. It hit the train. Let's see. 6 people died. I believe 5 immediately and 1 later, and a dozen people were injured. Okay? In this train wreck, this really happened. Now, after that, developed this ghost train. Now, I don't want to get too much into that. That's going to be covered in the video after the live stream. You're going to want to watch. It's very spooky. I was spooked. It's a different spooky video like you've never seen on my channel. So I don't want to get into the ghost story. But after that real incident happened, there's been sightings on that unused rail line. It's unused. There shouldn't be sightings. But in doing my research, I did find out the NHS concept is unrivaled. Yeah, well, I mean, the concept, gang, of universal health care is accepted by almost all nations. Yeah. So the concept. Yeah, it cost them to run. But in doing some of my research, some of the things I found, well, first of all, ghost trains. Let's just talk about them in general. There are ghost trains around the world. Has anyone ever heard of any famous ghost trains? This is a phenomenon that happens around the world. Ghost trains. Anyone ever seen one? Here's a famous one in Stockholm. It's called the Silver Pylon, or the Silver Arrow. It's one of the most famous ghost trains in the world. Anyone ever heard of that? An example where the train of legend absolutely did exist. The Silver Arrow was one of a handful of experimental unpainted aluminum trains tested out of Stockholm's metro line in the 1960s. The eerie look of its unadorned exterior and its slightly altered design were disagreeable to passengers. And the fact that the strange silver train seemed to turn up at random meant that legends soon grew up around it. Before long, the people of Stockholm would tell stories that if you got on Silver Arrow, it would never stop. You would be doomed to ride it for eternity. where it only stops once a year, and its passengers are the souls of the dead. By the 70s, the story of the Silver Ale got combined with ghost stories surrounding an unused train station called Kimlingi, where it was said that only the dead got off the train. That station then became Silver Arrow's home station, where it picked up and dropped off the dead. The train was decommissioned in the 90s, though a couple of its cars are still in use on other trains. So that train is haunted. There's also one in Saskatchewan, perhaps the best known spectral locomotive in Canada is the St. Louis Ghost Train, a phenomenon from just north of St. Louis, Saskatchewan, Canada. It's very familiar to locals. One variant of the legend that has arisen around this eerie light is that in the 1920s, a conductor was inspecting this stretch of tracks only to be decapitated by a passing train. Presumably, the apparition that appears there is some kind of residual energy from that tragic event. Those who've claimed to witness the phenomenon of a ghost light have been common in the area. It appears along the railroad track, sometimes accompanied by a red light that moves in circles around the white light. Why are there so many ghost trains or haunted trains? Or that one was in Saskatchewan. And you've got one in Norfolk. These are famous ghost trains around the world, though, this article I'm looking at. Here's one in North Carolina in the U.S. In August of 1821, a train just west of the town of Statesville fell into the ravine under the bridge after derailing from the 60-foot high trestle. It was pulling 6 cars and killed 23 people, like your train in Norfolk killed 6 when it wrecked. According to legend, 50 years to the day after that fatal crash, the car stalled out in viewing distance of the crash site. The driver went to find help, leaving his wife to watch the car. When the clock ticked to the exact time of the wreck, the wife saw a ghostly echo. Oh. Sorry the light is bad, but it's making it more spooky. The wife saw a ghostly echo of the derailment right before her eyes, including the shrieks of the dying as the train splashed into the creek. In a tragic echo of the story that is all too real, a ghost hunter lost his life in 2010 on the disaster's anniversary while trying to see the phantom train. He was hit and killed while saving his girlfriend from a very real oncoming train. That's tragic. It's these tragedies that make these trains get haunted. Saw that one, Constantine? Team? Here's another one. It's in Madrid. It's a metro train. So it's not only the trains themselves that appear as phantoms in railway lore, many large cities have sprawling metro lines that stretch like spider webs under the city streets. Your your train stations in the UK are also haunted. That's what I heard, especially some of the ones in London. But many of your train stations are haunted. But this one in Madrid, it says, uh, has 183 miles of track that's jam-packed with ghosts. One of the most famous in Madrid is at the station at Tirso de Molina, where people say they can hear the cries and groans of the dead from under the platforms. Allegedly, construction workers uncovered the bodies of several monks from an old monastery that had stood on the spot and hastily reburied the bones under the platforms, rather than giving them a proper rest. The same station is a setting for a tale where a woman found herself accompanied by 3 ghostly passengers in the car with her. That would freak me out. You go to King's Lynn often, Genghis? Watch out. Watch out for that train line. So there are ghost trains and hauntings all over the world. A lot of them sometimes are just trains. Sometimes they're haunted trains, sometimes they're spectral trains. Here's one in eastern Scotland. It's called the Ghost Train of Tay Rail Bridge. The Tay Rail Bridge was completed in 1877 after 6 years of construction to cross the Firth of Tay, an estuary in eastern Scotland where the River Tay empties between the cities of Perth and Dundee. The bridge served to connect the railway between Dundee and Fife in the northeast. Like in many stories of ghost trains, the Tay Bridge is remembered for a deadly railway disaster. You're close to those ghosts, gang. It's only an hour drive. Just 2 years after the completion of the bridge, disaster struck in what became one of the worst train accidents in Scottish history. A train carrying 75 passengers was 75 was crossing the Firth when a storm struck, causing the middle section of the bridge to collapse. The crew and passengers were all plunged into the cold winter waters below, leaving no survivors. And nearly half the bodies never found. There were 75 people on that train, no survivors. The second bridge was opened right next to the ruins of the old one a few years later that is still being used today. The ghostly train repeats. It says that on the anniversary of the disaster, people have witnessed a ghost train appearing floating where the old track once stood. The ghostly train repeats its disastrous plummet into the waters, with the screaming voice of the spirits of the dead passengers audible the whole way down, often seen once a year on the anniversary. In Scotland. Anyway, there's more. There's all kinds of ghost train stories all around the world. Yeah, the lighting's kind of bad. I was hoping the storm would start to roll in. It would be cool if I was doing a spooky live stream and it was just pouring rain behind me. Wouldn't that be cool? I thought the winds would start to blow and these trees would start to move because the front's approaching. It should be approaching the edge of the front in about 30 minutes. The wind should start to pick up. In about an hour and a half, it'll be pouring down. There'll be thunderstorms. There's a ghost train on the Green Line. Y'all got ghost trains. They're spooky, huh, Terry? This is wild, huh, Constant? But I want to talk a little bit. Yeah, I was hoping it with thunder and lightning. As it gets closer, maybe at the end of the live stream, it might start to thunder, some like rolling thunder. That usually comes first and winds, and then a little bit of rain. I'm telling you, in 2 to 3 hours, it'll be miserable outside. It'll be sheets of rain coming down, possible flooding, possible hail, possible tornadoes, high winds. All that's coming for me in like 2 hours. I'll be in the middle of that. But I do want to talk a little bit about other haunted places in Norfolk. Genghis, you go to Norfolk, huh? Who else has been there or goes there? Because it's an area, according to this hauntedrooms.co.uk website I'm on. According to this website, Norfolk is an area that has more than its fair share of ghosts. Not just the ghost train. Many of the paranormal activity links to the area's history, in particular, Ket's Rebellion in 1549. Other spirits have been spotted or linked to well-known figures from the area. There's even a ghostly animal that serves as a harbinger of doom. That's like the black dog, isn't it? Right? Is there a black dog in Norfolk? I didn't look ahead at this article, but it lists like, how many is it? The 12 most haunted places in Norfolk. Let's see what they are. Thetford Warren Lodge in Thetford. Thetford Warren Lodge was built sometime in the 1400s and can be found a few miles west of Thetford. At one time, there was a medieval leper colony close to the lodge. Witnesses believe that the regularly sighted apparition of a faceless man in cream and blue clothing is either a leper victim or perhaps a former warrener who is protecting his lodge for all eternity. There are also reports of a ghostly rabbit. What? A ghostly rabbit? With flaming red eyes in the area, but this paranormal activity is the one that ghost hunters should hope that they never get to document. He's supposed to be an omen of your death. A rabbit? I thought it was going to be a black dog. You know? What is up with that place? Y'all ever heard of that? Thetford Bourne Lodge? With a rabbit? There's the omen of your death? Flaming red eyes. I don't like this rabbit. Usually, I like most rabbits. A couple of them owe me money, but we're still friendly. But this one, rabbit with red eyes? Ugh. I don't like this rabbit. He can stay on his side of the road. Okay, that's it. Thetford. How about the Adam and Eve Pub in Norwich? Adam and Eve Pub is located in Norwich, and it is said to be the town's oldest public house, with records dating it to 1249. The hauntings are linked to Lord Sheffield, who was killed close to the pub by rebel forces during Kit's rebellion back in 1549. It is said that his spirit still roams the pub. He rings a bell in the bar when the room is empty. There have also been reports of hot and cold spots around the building and phantom footsteps. Some staff also claim to have been touched by unseen hands. Don't touch me, ghosts. However, perhaps the most terrifying paranormal encounter at the Adam and Eve pub was the one reported in 2006 when a terrified customer saw a gruesome apparition of a spectral hand holding a severed head. Okay. The Adam and Eve pub in Norwich. It's at 17 Bishop Gate. If y'all want to go and visit. If you want to go and see. But here's what I think about that. I mean, I don't mind if the guy rings the bell when the room's empty. That's fine with me. Hot and cold spots. I don't feel like that's the ghost's fault. It's just something that comes with them. It's not their fault. I don't blame them for the hot and cold. I feel like maybe it's something they can't help. But don't touch me, ghost. This I don't like. And for sure, no spectral hands holding severed heads around me at the pub. I'm trying to relax. Show some respect. Cut that out. Okay, I have actually heard of Norwich Castle. You probably have too, right? Norwich Castle's haunted? Alright. It's a scheduled ancient monument and a grade 1 listed building built by William the Conqueror following the Norman invasion. Pretty famous castle. I've heard of it. Like so many other castles, Norwich Castle is haunted by several Norfolk ghosts. And the hauntings date back as far as 1820. In 1820, prisoners inside Norwich Castle were terrified when they witnessed a ghostly apparition of a Victorian woman all in black. Even today, staff members have reported a similar apparition, and on one occasion, they were terrified when she was seen floating in the air. However, the Black Lady is by no means the most terrifying specter to call Norwich Castle home. There's also a rather gruesome apparition of the rotting corpse of rebel leader Robert Kett, which is frequently spotted hanging in a cage at the top of the castle. Unsuspecting people passing by the castle have seen the apparition and been shocked and terrified by the sight. Well, of course, Robert Kett, Kett's rebellion leader. Wow. His rotting corpse hanging in a cage at the top of the castle? What would you do if you saw that? You're just walking along, minding your own business. You look up at the top of the castle. There's a cage with the rotting corpse of Kett rebellion leader Robert Kett. What do you do? Yeah, Genghis, if there's a ghost story on trains, it probably has to do with crashes, especially horrific ones. A haunted plane, Genghis? You use parts from a plane crash, Boeing? A haunted plane? That's a million times worse than a haunted train, isn't it? I don't want to be on a haunted plane. That seems bad. Yeah, Constantine, that's what you do. You pull out your phone and you film it. That's funny. Yeah, you film it. I don't know if I film or just flee. I mean, the other one, the black lady, she's not that scary. She does float, but I'd float too if I could. So floating's not that bad. Not that bad. I'm okay. I don't. If I'm gonna see a ghost, you want it to pull out all the tricks. I want to see it. I want to see it float, vanish, walk through walls. You know what I mean? If I have a ghost friend, that's like the first thing I'm gonna say. It's like, hey man, can you float? I'd love to see that. Do you mind just walking through that wall? I'd like to see that. But I don't want to see a rotting corpse. How about Cromer Pier in Cromer? Cromer Pier is another one of the most haunted places in Norfolk. The Grade 2 listed pier is home to two haunted buildings, Cromer Lifeboat Station and the Pavilion Theater. It's a twofer. Both buildings haunted in the same place. Of the two buildings, the theater is probably the better known of the two properties. The most commonly reported apparition is of an ashen-faced man with black hair and a tall hat who is thought to be the Irish impresario Dick Condon, referred to in his obituary as the best-known, assuredly best-loved figure in Norfolk. The theater is also said to have poltergeist activity in the bar area. Over at the lifeboat station, there's also a great deal of paranormal activity in the area. It is thought that these spirits are those of deceased lifeboatmen, sailors lost at sea, and perhaps even the lost residents of the medieval town of Shipton, which lies under the sea, just off the coast of Cromer. I never heard of that. Oh, that should be good, Terry. A delicious beef stew. I go for a jacket potato. It's going to be rainy today. But yeah, beef stew sounds good. All right, so I never heard of. There's a medieval town of Shipton, which lies under the sea, off of the coast of Norfolk, and a haunted lifeboat station. Well, I hear the wind picking up. Can't see it too much yet. Yeah, the wind's starting to pick up. It's weird when you can feel the storm coming. Well, I should have made my live stream like an hour later. You could have seen the whole storm develop. Anyway, Norfolk's all haunted. What is that? Okay, you can't film a tornado, Chappie. I've tried to film tornadoes before, Chappie. I've seen a few from a distance. You can't film them. The sky turns black usually, and it's hard to get footage. I mean, I know you can film them. People have filmed them, but you got to be from like a distance. The sky has to be light. The ones I've seen, it's just the sky's black. You can't hardly see anything but a debris field. It's hard to film. You grew up in a haunted house, Constantine, for 17 years. Both your parents were scientists. So after that long, you treat them like roommates. Like I say, some ghosts are good, some are bad. That's my opinion. Yeah, it's tough to film. It's got to be the right tornado. You got to be at the right distance, the right weather conditions. The ones I've seen in person, I actually did try to film one, but it didn't. You couldn't tell what it was, but a dark sky, a lot of rain, and some debris flying around. But it shouldn't be my first instinct to film if I see a tornado. This should not be my first instinct. The ones I've seen, one hit Fort Worth, a big one hit downtown Fort Worth. I was on my way downtown Fort Worth. I heard that on the radio, storm's coming. Right down the highway I was on, I could see The sky turned midnight colored in the middle of the day. I heard the warnings. I got immediately, I was about 2 exits from downtown Fort Worth. I got off the highway. I knew where there was a low lying spot in the geography, the topography of the area. I knew at this exit that it went down low, and I just drove over to there and I sat while the thing passed over. And it must have passed over me. I couldn't tell. There was a lot of rain, a lot of debris. I tried to film it. It wasn't possible. It hit downtown Fort Worth, which is unusual. You can read about this if you want. It's one of the biggest tornadoes that ever hit Fort Worth. Well, it is the biggest one that ever hit downtown Fort Worth. I did see it. I was right there. It destroyed skyscrapers downtown Fort Worth. It's never happened before. And then right after it passed, I mean, it doesn't take long, it's gone. And I went downtown and it looked like a war zone. It looked like a war zone. I was downtown right after it happened. As I was getting downtown, they were starting to rope off and block off streets that had debris in them that were unpassable, but they hadn't even done that yet. I was free to roam. It was right after it happened. There was debris everywhere in the streets. It looked crazy. That's the worst one I've seen. I've seen a couple of others, not that close. One that dropped debris in my yard, and I could see from a distance, but it did drop like some debris in my yard that it stirred up. Another one I saw from a distance, where it was just raining. It was midday. I probably could have filmed that one, but I didn't think about it. But yeah, today we could get tornadoes. There is a chance in the forecast. Anyway, it's when hot air and cold air meet. That happens. And right now we're sitting on hot air in Texas, and the cold front's coming from up north. They clash, boom, tornadoes. I know, I wish y'all could see at least the storm coming. We did have storms just 2 nights ago that did get bad. They started out in the evenings. They weren't that bad. It was just like, lightning, thunder, it was raining. But then around midnight, it became biblical, as Nikki says. Hi, Nikki, good to see you. But you lived in 2 haunted houses, Choppy? Ooh. Leanne was talking to one? Ooh. Were they friendly ghosts? You did too in Chicago, Constantine? Could knock out the electric, it could. It could. I live, not far from me is a fire station. I'm on the same grid, and those are taken care of first. If you're on the same grid as a hospital, a police station, or a fire station, if the power goes out, they fix those first, which is good for hospitals, fire stations, and police stations. I live on the same grid as one, and so if my power goes out, it's usually restored pretty quickly. I'm just lucky to be in that position. Yeah, there's a lot of spooky stuff in Norfolk, though. How about the Muckleberg collection in Wyburn? This one's weird, it looks like. It's showing me an aircraft. Whenever people mention Haunted Norfolk, one of the first places that most people think about is the Muckleberg collection, mainly because it was featured on a well-known paranormal TV show. Have y'all heard of this? It is the UK's largest privately owned military museum and is located on the former site of Wyburn Anti-Aircraft Training Camp. Staff at the museum have reported seeing unexplained spirit lights at nighttime, usually close to the old pillbox. It has been suggested that these are the spirits of 6 ATS girls who died in the area. It has also been suggested that the Russian T-34 tank in the museum is haunted as well. People often hear the sound of it cooling down, as it would after being run. However, the ignition has not been turned on in a very long time, so this is not at all possible. Significant temperature drops are also experienced close to the tank. There have also been hundreds of reports of phantom footsteps, poltergeist activity, eerie groans, disembodied screams, and shouting. Particular hotspots are the office, the corridors, and some of the old military ambulances. This suggests that some activity comes not from the building or the land, but the objects themselves. Ooh. It was a Victorian lady that haunted your house, Choppy? Was she nice? Or did she carry around her head? Because I don't like her if she did. But if she's friendly and just wanted to talk over a cup of tea, then I would like to meet this Victorian lady ghost. Choppy. Y'all ever heard of that? Wayborn Camp? The Muckelberg Collection? It says it was featured on a well-known paranormal TV show. Oh, this one looks spooky in Norwich. The Maid's Head Hotel. Maid's Head Hotel, 20 Tomberland, it says. Is the address if you want to go and see it. Or visit it. The Maid's Head Hotel looks like that, and that looks scary. She was nice. She was knitting. Well, okay. Choppy, that's a good ghost to have about. Lighter body, less density. Nice, Choppy, nice. Yeah, Terry says, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't mind I get lonely sometimes. Having a nice Victorian ghost knitting nearby seems kind of cozy. The Maid's Head Hotel in Norwich. One of the most haunted places in Norfolk is the Maid's Head Hotel. It is believed to be home to a female spirit known simply as the Lady in Grey. Some say that she is a maid who once worked in the building. She is most often seen in the oldest part of the hotel, and guests have said that she usually leaves the scent of lavender in her wake. I think I've heard of her. Oh, I think I've read about this one. One of the bedrooms in this part of the building also seems to attract her attention. It is not all that uncommon for visitors to request rooms in the newer section of the hotel when booking to avoid the guests. The hotel is also haunted by a former mayor who is often seen walking around the hotel's courtyard shaking his head. Well, heavy is the head that wears the crown of mayor. He's got a lot of worries. And this lady in gray, now you have a few. There are ladies in gray all over the UK. Or there's one very busy one because she goes all over. But this one at the Maid's Head Hotel, she leaves the scent of lavender in her wake, and I like her. I love the smell of lavender. Good on her. That's a little talk about some of Haunted Norfolk, including coming up to my channel. Right after this live stream, I'll be in the premiere of the chat about my reaction to this phantom train in Norfolk along the King's Lynn line. I told you the story of how there was a tragic accident where they hit a cow. 6 people died. Then you'll see me react to the ghost story in the video that has occurred ever since that happened. Spectral trains. That's pretty scary. I don't think I want to see a spectral train. I don't think so. But in that video that comes up, you're going to see a different kind of video than you've seen on my channel before. It's a little spookier. It's a little spookier in that video. I think you might like it. Like I say, it's not like any other video on my channel. So I don't know if you'll like it, but it is different. It is different, my reaction. Coming right up about this spectral train. So who would like to see that? Like, if you could just see it, do you want to see? Or has anyone ever seen a spectral train? And do you want to? While painting old people's home for dementia during a night shift, Nikki Brooks says, you kept feeling something ruffling your hair only for the staff to say it happened to them too. I don't like that. You love it, Terry. You enjoy things like that. Yeah, I think I probably would like to see it too, Terry and Constantine. Yeah, Nikki Brooke, I don't like ghosts touching my hair. Why don't they just sit nicely and knit in the corner? Right, Genghis, that is freaky. I don't want that. I do want to see a spectral train, though. I do. I don't want to see a red-eyed rabbit trying to claim my soul. It was an omen of death. I don't want to see that. Yeah, it would be scary, huh, Choppy, to see one. A spectral train. I bet it was freaky, Nicky Brooke. I don't want to see that. I don't want to be touched. Do not touch me. Okay, I'm gonna wrap things up uh, to get ready to go over and watch. For anyone who wants to join, watching the video Phantom Train of Norfolk. I will be live in the chat, so I'm gonna wrap things up and get ready to go over there. I will mention that tomorrow's live stream, it will be an hour earlier than today. It will be about the NHS. I don't know. It'll be on a Saturday. Maybe there'll be people that join, maybe not. Are there any big games tomorrow about 1 p.m. your time? There probably are. Any big matches or sporting events that might keep people's attention. And if that's true and you can't join that live stream because you got to watch sports, I don't care. It's fine with me. But it's a Saturday live stream about the NHS tomorrow at 1 p.m. your time. I have a lot of thoughts on the subject, and I'm certainly no expert, but I will do a lot of research for that live stream, try to present the facts, followed by my opinion at the end as to whether your NHS, specifically yours, or our U.S. healthcare system, my opinion on which is better. But y'all know I'm for universal healthcare. 17 years experience with dark entities. They feed off fear like candy. Ooh, if you don't give them the fear, they'll leave you alone. Ooh. See, I'd probably be scared, Constantine. I'd be scared. They'd be feeding off. I would be a big, juicy piece of candy. I'd be like a giant, delicious Jaffa cake, which I'm out of, or ginger snaps, which I'm also out of. They would see me and be like, oh, that looks delicious, like a UK snack. He's full of fear. That's funny. And we're out of all the snacks except for Quality Street, which we're not really eating. Me and Sage have not been eating the Quality Streets. Jack Love, they rejected. Yeah, okay, that's good advice, Genghis. Constantine took years to get. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, ghosts are scary. It's hard to control that fear. But it's good chatting with y'all today. I hope you enjoyed the spooky live stream today. And I hope if you want to, join the live stream chat or the premiere chat. I'll be in right after the live stream. If that type of video interests you, you might enjoy it. But good to see you today, Genghis and Constantine and Choppy and Terry, Nikki Brooke. Good to see you. Let's see, just a handful of us here today, I think. But good to see you all on the live stream. I feel like somebody else was here earlier, but maybe not. Yeah, all I see is Genghis and Terry and Choppy and Constantine. Nikki Brooke. If I missed anyone, I apologize. But good to see you all. And yeah, hopefully I survived the thunderstorms today. Should be alright. The worst of it should pass just north of Dallas. Right in the heart of Dallas where I live. Shouldn't be too bad. But sadly, you didn't get to see too much happening behind me, because the storm's not close enough yet. But everybody have a great day. Enjoy your day. Cheers to everyone. Wayne from Dallas, Texas, signing out.